Uniqueness is your superpower. After a successful but unfulfilling career in tech, I set off to uncover what makes people successful and satisfied. I discovered the systems of astrology and human design, studied and applied them for years, and exchanged my 9 to 5 for the entrepreneur's adventure. Now I share insight from the cosmic cutting edge. This podcast is for ambitious people ready to use their unique genius to create wealth, positive impact, and personal fulfillment. We'll talk personal branding, business, and leadership. Time to be courageous and seen. Let's reach for the stars. Hello, everyone. This is Rachel Starr and Karla Julissa here from the Intuitive Impact Academy program. And we are so excited to talk to you and give you some amazing tips, some amazing value today around how you could start your business in 2024. This video is going to be specifically for entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, people who are just ready to go there, ready to kind of get out of the stuckness, get out of the overwhelm, get out of the, what should I do? I just know that I want to create something. I just know that I want to be my own boss. I just know that I want to work for myself, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it. And today we're going to be talking about the lens of human design and how human design as a cosmic system is just incredible for supporting you in creating a business, in putting yourself out there, in being the most confident and most authentic version of you that you possibly can be. And Karla Julissa is going to be our example today. So I can't wait to dive into her chart. I'm going to show it to you and we'll talk about how she really embodies so many of her just gifts that she was born with in her business and how she's using them today. So welcome, Karla.
Yay. Thank you, Rachel, so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be a part of this as we showcase the lens of human design, how it's so powerful. I know that for me, it has really helped me to embody my leadership and, really tune in to remembering who I am and allowing myself to live outside that mold that society tries to fit you
Yes.
in.
Yes.
So I think that was such a relief.
Yeah,
to
that's
be
how I describe human design a lot of times is it's a relief, right? It's kind of like, oh, I don't have to try to be this other person that I thought I had to be. I love it. So good. Well, I want to briefly introduce myself and have Karla introduce herself as well. So I am the founder of Cosmic Queen. I am a life coach and a business coach and an identity coach. So what I do is really support people to be their most confident selves. I know we may have some little tech issues here and there. Hopefully the internet holds, but if you got that, great. If not, then go check out all of my work over on Cosmic Queen HQ. And yeah, and I love astrology and human design. I'm really obsessed, honestly, because I just find them such incredible tools for helping you to get back to who you really are. So I can't wait to talk about that today. Karla, do you want to introduce yourself and what you do as well?
Yeah. So, hi, my name is Carla. I am the Radiant Matriarch, and I help women to feel freedom from their generational trauma so that they can reignite their feminine power. Knowing that, those conditionings, it's not their truth, it's not the reality of what they are co creating in this moment, in this lifetime. And knowing that when we heal generational trauma, we are healing forward. We are doing
Mhm.
it for our children, for generations to come. And this really is the paradigm at the time for authenticity, for us
Mm,
to be our authentic selves, as long as we allow space to release that trauma that, was just in survival mode, right? So I
mhm.
really help to guide women through that healing journey to really come back to their desires, come back to their own embodiment of who they are, and embrace their matriarchal frequency, which is so divine in our
So
queendom, right?
juicy. It's so good. And I love what you said about, it's like getting out of the survival mode. I think this is the year for that, if anything, like just looking at the numerology, like 2023 was all about like kind of chaos and mixing things up and like trusting the process, which is not easy. And it was very difficult, activating, triggering for a lot of people. 2024 is an 8 year. And so it's all about that inner strength. And that's really what we're bringing into this program. And you specifically are very much bringing that into this program. How can you find like your center amidst the storm of life? Because life is always going to have storms and life is always going to be ups and downs.
Exactly. Ah,
So
so
good.
good.
So
So
good.
good.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about your chart, honey. Okay. I can't wait. This is going to be so good. I love showing people's charts and then talking about them. It's just, it brings it all to life. So let me make sure that I've got the right screen. And hold on just a minute. There we go. Like a true manifesting generator, I have a million screens open. Okay. So this is, hopefully people can see this all right. This is Karla Julissa's chart, and it is beautiful. And we're going to pick out some major things. This is her human design chart, also known as the body graph. And so we're going to pick out a few things that really jumped out at me, that stood out to me, and told me something about what some of her big, like kind of more obvious strengths are in business. Now, I want to caveat this that, everyone's chart is very complex. There's so many different aspects. I also use astrology as well. Human design includes astrology, but I use classic astrology as well. But there is so much complexity and so much inner, there are lots of kind of oppositions, aspects where we're this but then we're also this, and sometimes they compete against each other, and they create this inner tension and also creativity. And so never just look at your chart and pick one thing and think that that's your whole personality. That's not how it works. We are complicated, and beautifully so we're going to pick out a few things and see how this shows up in your business. So and I'm lucky because Karla also knows quite a bit about human design and the gene keys already. She uses it in her life and business. And so I think we're going to have such a cool conversation here. So, yay. So the first thing I want to talk about is type. I always say, start with type. So you are a projector. And there is conventional wisdom and like canon information about projectors, and then there are going to be nuances that we see in the chart. And so you are what we call an energy projector, which means that you have, the solar plexus and the root activated. You have a lot, and this is so funny. This is actually the second chart that looks like this today that I've done a session on, which is so interesting. The other person's chart looked very similar. So you have the solar plexus and the root defined, and if you're not familiar with human design, you may recognize that terminology from the chakra system. And so in human design, it uses the chakra system as well as astrology, as well as the I Ching, and as well as the Kabbalah tree of life. It blends all of these ancient systems of wisdom together in a really incredible way. And so when I see this, I see that you're an energy projector. You have these motors on all the time. And so there is a lot of conventional wisdom about projectors, or should I say generic wisdom about projectors, that says, you have no energy. You just need to rest all the time. Like you just have no energy. And that is not true. That is not a truism. And so, yeah, especially for people that do have motor centers defined. So you have 2 out of the 4 motor centers. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Like in your life and business, would you describe yourself as someone who doesn't have energy, or are you like, no, I've got quite a bit of energy? What would you say?
No, I have quite a bit of energy, and needless to say, when it does run out, I definitely go into like quick shutdown mode,
Yeah.
and I understand when I'm depleted and completely done, because my energy centers will completely let me know that.
Mm-hmm.
But I will go, 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 and in the beginning, when I would hear the generic term of projectors don't have energy, I thought there was something wrong with me.
Yeah, right.
So,
You're like, wait, but I'm a projector. I don't feel exhausted. Why? What's happening?
what do you mean I can only work 4 hours? But
Yeah, that's a
I want to keep
classic one. That's
right.
a
But
classic
I
one.
want to keep going because I feel so lit up by this right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you dive deeper and you see that my 2 energy centers, my 2 motor centers are completely Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Now it makes sense. And not
Yeah.
only do you have two motor centers, but two of the kind of strongest motor centers, like the
Mhm.
solar plexus and the root, especially the root. I mean, you have quite a lot of planets activating your root center. And what that says to me is that you have a tremendous amount of drive and motivation and commitment to things. And that if you have to kind of be on a schedule, if you have to have deadlines, if you have to kind of work in more of that structured way, you're going to be more likely to be able to cope with that and to be okay with some of that
Yeah.
structure than maybe someone who didn't have these centers
Correct.
defined. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
in business, what this could look like is like, yeah, having set days or a set schedule where you're like, okay, I see my clients at this time on these days. I'm able to, like scheduling things is not maybe as much as an issue as it may be for some other people. And having clear cut goals and timelines might feel good to you.
yes, absolutely spot on. Yep.
Awesome. Okay, makes sense. Love
Yes.
that. And then so the other thing about being projector that I always love to emphasize, especially when we're talking about like creating an offer and creating a business and creating a brand, is being an expert. I'd love to hear what you think about this. So my the way that I talk to my projector clients, I've done masterminds like just for projectors in the past as well. And everyone seems to really thrive with this, which I think is really cool. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on how this has worked for you, but is not necessarily needing to have a tight niche. I think there's a difference between being an expert and having a really tight niche. I think there's some nuance there. But what I recommend is for projectors is to really showcase their expertise, that this is such an important part of the marketing plan. The brand is like saying, hey, I am an expert in these things, and you can come to me for these things. And that may sound obvious because that's kind of a more traditional approach to marketing, but it is very applicable to projectors. Not so much to say like reflectors or even manifesting generators. People don't necessarily come to them for a specific expertise, but I would say for projectors, it's a beautiful area of magnetism that a lot of projectors are not taking advantage of. What are your thoughts on that?
I have to tell you, Rachel, I totally agree. And it took me a long time to really embody that
Mm.
because for me, my gene keys is an altruism. And so part of that ebb and flow for me is wanting to help and wanting to
Yeah.
really focus on being of service.
Mhm.
And for many years in the beginning, it was hard for me to pinpoint exactly what those three things were or four things, you know? Um,
Mhm.
and so my marketing, my messaging was always either watered down or confusing
Mm.
because my community would not know exactly, I talked about generational trauma, about, feminine embodiment, at one point about human design, I'm also a shaman. So there's that, spiritual aspect of it through the
Yeah.
element nature. And it was like, okay, so what are we talking about? And I realized that for me, it was bringing in those elements that really lit me up and
Mm.
creating my expertise around that. And that became
Yeah.
my,
Yes.
so
Beautiful. And
yeah,
not needing other people to tell you
exactly.
and to say like tell you that you're an expert. You're like, no, I decide, I own it
Yeah,
myself. Mhm.
correct. Yes. And that became such a relief, a sort of liberation of trying to fit into, oh, I can only speak about this, but I really love this too, or this speaks to me as well.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just been so beautiful to be able to weave that expertise
Mhm.
into my messaging and my marketing so that my message is very clear. So when, my community, my clients are coming to me, they know exactly, they know we're working through generational trauma.
Yes. Yeah, I
Right.
love this. And the reason that like I should have mentioned this before, but like the reason that I think projectors are so good at need to like really hammer their expertise and be very clear about it and very upfront with is because they're natural guides, right? So they're like if you're a guide, just think of like a tour guide. If you're a guide, you need to tell people where you're going and you need to tell people that you have the expertise to lead them there. Otherwise, they're not going to jump onto your tour. They're not going to pay. They're going to be like, this person doesn't seem sure. This person doesn't seem sure of like what this tour is about, where we're going, and their expertise. So yeah, as
Exactly right.
natural
Yep.
guides, you got to tell people, and then they can know, like, and trust you and buy their ticket and like, yep, I'm in.
It's a yes. Once you're very clear with that messaging and what you are an expert in,
Mhm.
it becomes very easy for them to understand, to get it, and say, ah, okay, yes, I want
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Yeah. I love that. So powerful. Let's talk about your 1-3 profile line. This is a major one that we're going to be talking about in the program as well. So we'll talk about aura type, which is being a projector, and also the profile lines, because this to me is like such a secret weapon, for any entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur. I love working with the profile lines. They are very connected to the idea of like purpose, but also leadership style as well. Kind of like, this is how you do life, or this is how you see the world, or this is how you do things, and which can translate really nicely into offers and programs and courses and whatever it is that the person is doing in their business. So when someone says, okay, I want to have a business, but I don't know what I would sell. Like, I like to look at the profile lines for helping us understand, is this person more of a teacher? Is this person more of a role model and an example? Is this person more of someone who teaches through trial and error? Like, all these kind of things can help us to like zero in on the ideal signature offer for you. So you are a 1-3. So the one line is known as in human design as the investigator, and then the 3 line is known as the martyr. But I also like to say the explorer, because I think it's more like the martyr is like the old human design term, but the
Yeah.
explorer is more what it is. It's more clear, kind of like this is what it does. So that combination's potent. I mean, I always like to say and remind people that Beyonce is a 1-3. First of all, yes, I love it. My favorite celebrity example. And it's this combination, like this is what we see in Beyonce, is like she's this combination of this like Virgo queen energy, which is the one line very much, which is detail oriented, a bit of a perfectionist, always wants the highest quality, the highest value, and likes to get to the bottom of things. It's like someone who kind of like they want to go deep in what they do. It's not kind of about like, let's just have a good time. It's like, I want to go deep.
Okay.
And you really want it to be like the best of the best and the strongest of the strongest that it can be. And then the 3 line, which is the subconscious for you, is, and for Beyonce, is all about creativity, exploration, and trying new things, failing and standing back up, failing and standing back up, succeeding and then failing and standing back up. And so it's all about learning through experience. And I mean, this is what we love about Beyonce, is like she will have a big life experience and then she'll make art with it. And then she'll sing about it and make a visual album. Like Lemonade is a great example of like, ooh, I had some deep, difficult stuff happen. I failed in some areas, or people failed me, or whatever happened. And now I'm going to come and share with you what I learned so that you can avoid the same things, or so that you can learn from this. And the 3rd line is so relatable, so warm, so
Mm,
like we just feel like it's like sister mother energy. Like we get it and we feel the heart. And you have that too. So how
mm.
can you see both of those lines at play in your business? Like the 1 line, the investigator likes to get to the bottom of things, and then the 3 line, who also wants to like just explore and experiment.
Oh yes, this was huge for me.
Mm,
Um, just even starting out in my business and even to this day, because the diving deep, wanting to investigate, wanting to understand so much for me personally in the generational trauma that I experienced,
mm,
diving deep into understanding the energetics of how that was impacting my life, how it had
mm.
impacted my motherhood, my relationships, my own leadership in my business. Like I wanted to understand that so that I can then unravel it go deeper
Yeah.
into the line, explore through it, and then come out on the other side, of being of service and creating programs and things like that. So, you know, really attuning to both numbers and the frequency of the two was such a beautiful process. And at the same time, it was, again, such a relief because,
Mm,
you get to really understand that, oh, that's why I like to go deep.
mm,
Why
yeah.
I like to really deeply understand, the complexity of, what has happened in my lineage. I
Yeah.
often refer to myself as a lineage leader. I want to understand backwards and forwards and how this is all impacting how my life in this time, my soul chose this.
Hmm.
And there's
Hmm.
so much that I'm healing through that process. And at the same time, it's impacting generations to come and generations forward.
Yes. And then, of course, you do that for other people. You help them to do
Yes,
that as well. So they
yes,
get to experience through you the wisdom of learning from your experience, being free to explore and experiment, and then
yes,
letting that support how you create strength and power in your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
That's the 1-3, baby. Ah, I love it.
Yeah,
This is so good.
yeah,
So, beautiful. I also, I think there are a couple other things I wanted to pull out here as examples. Oh, I could go all day, but there's two more that I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
bring out. I could literally go all. So I want to talk about your sun, your conscious sun in gate 27. So in this image, you can see it here. Gate 27 is in the sacral. You can see this is the conscious sun here. And gate 27 is the gate of caring. And
Mhm.
when I saw this, knowing your expertise, knowing your what you do and how you support women in your work, I was not surprised. Like, of course it's in K27. Of course. I mean, the conscious sun in human design, I mean, the sun in human design in general is really about your work and the gifts that you are here to give to the world. And so it is very public facing. And so
Mhm.
you're not only, I'm sure caring in your private life, but like you're here to help to other people to learn to embody caring for themselves as well. And the beautiful thing about gate 27 is that it's about community energy. So it's part of the tribal sequence, but we don't use the word tribal anymore. So we say community. So it's part of the community, circuitry in human design, and which is all about the people around you in your close-knit community and network, and wanting to protect them and wanting to take care of them and wanting to make their world a bigger place, to make a better place, to make it safer, to make it more nourishing, to make it, just better. And so that gate of caring is very much about remembering, like there's always a shadow side and a light side. The shadow side is overgiving, of course,
Which
over caring. Yeah, giving
I've
it
done.
all away. Um, but then the higher expression is like, yeah, let's learn to care for ourselves, fill our own cup, and then
Yes,
we fill those for, the rest of the homies, everyone around us.
yes.
Um, yeah, would you say, I mean, obviously that is part of your
I
work.
mean, that's me in a nutshell right
Well,
there.
actually, just a minute. Hold on just a minute.
And I just answered, that's me in a nutshell, right? Gate 7, caring. Part of my drive to help women free themselves from the generational trauma and the conditioning that comes with that is so that you can fill your cup first.
Mhm.
Let go of the shame, the survival, the silence, right? Activating your voice
Yes. Yes.
as a leader in your family. And really, moving into a place where you are enough, you are powerful, and you see yourself as that matriarch. I mean, that is the very definition of what, the matriarch is. So
Hmm.
it's no
Hmm.
surprise,
Oh,
of course.
of course.
It is
Yeah,
my
I love that.
human
That's how
design.
it should feel. Like reading your human design chart is like, oh, of course. Of
Of
course this
course.
makes sense. Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Um, the last thing I wanted to point out is again, kind of around offer creation, something that can support people who are trying to figure out, especially if you're in the service world. So we are, coaches, mentors, supporters, and so we offer services. And sometimes people are like, should I do a mastermind, or should I do evergreen courses, or should I do one-to-one, or, and so that often can be a source of like stress for people, and pressure of like, how do I work with people? And one of the places I like to look is in the gene keys, which is a sister system of human design. There is something called the culture sphere, which is really connected to how do we find our people, and how do we attract our people to us. And by embodying the energy of this gate and line, we can they can see us easier, and we can relate to them better. And I love this, because attraction and building community is such an important part of business. And so I want to look at that. That's the unconscious Jupiter over here. I don't want to, we could look at the gate, but actually I want to look at the line level. So being a third line in the culture sphere here, the unconscious Jupiter, tells me that one of the ways that you might really work best with people and your gifts might really come out the strongest is in small groups. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Nice.
Small, intimate groups is
Yeah.
what really feels balanced
Mm.
and also very magical.
Mm.
I think that, groups of 20, not my jam.
Too big. Yeah, that
Me,
would be more
too
like
big.
fifth line, sixth line. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Just too big. I almost feel as though there would be a disconnection with each person. And what I
Mm-hmm.
really want is to be able to connect with each person. So
Mm. Yeah.
that, for me, small, intimate is the sweet
Makes
spot.
sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Oh, I love this. And
Yeah.
like every reading that I've done around this, like business owners, they always resonate with their culture line. Like
Mhm.
it's like some part of them knows that,
Yes.
yes, that this is the, because we can get very distracted by business strategy. We can get very distracted and kind of go all over the place and things. And like, oh, well, look at them. They're doing this, so it must work for me. But really, with human design, it's about recognizing our unique abilities and things that are going to work really well for us. It doesn't mean that you can't work one-to-one. Of course, you can. You would be very effective one-to-one. But it's just showing us the path of least resistance, that place
Yeah.
where our gifts shine the easiest and the best. And so
Mhm.
we want to kind of put our energy into that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I love this. Thank you so much for letting me dive
Yeah.
deeper into your chart. Of course,
Yeah.
there's so much more that we could talk about.
I know. We could be here all day. I
I
know
know we
we
could be here all day, all night. It is amazing. And I hope that, people watching have gotten a great taste, have gotten a
could.
great, example and inspiration for how they can start working with their human design, and how they can recognize the gifts, talents, and abilities that are already in them, that were there at the moment that they were born, that they
Exactly.
get to now bring out to the world, right? So good.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that, Rachel, that it's already in them. This is not something that you have to try to achieve. This is
No,
not something that you have to work hard to try to, make it happen. It's
no.
already in you. It's
Yeah.
already inside us, right?
Hmm.
I love
Yeah.
it.
It is. It's more of it's not like we're putting on a mask. It's like we're taking it off.
Oh,
We're taking it
oh,
off. Yeah.
love that. Love that. Yes.
Mic drop and
Love
podcast.
that.
Oh,
Shooting star.
I know, shooting star. Thank you so much
No,
for
thank you,
joining
Rachel.
me. This has
Yeah.
been so fun,
Thank
and
you.
I hope people have enjoyed this kind of demonstration of what we're going to do. I mean, in the Intuitive Impact Academy, I highly encourage everyone to go and check out the program. It is a 9-month program starting at the end of March, March 22nd. So you got to get in there now if you want to be in there.
Yep.
In about 10 days, 11 days from now. It is going to be incredible. Each
It-
month, we're going to have a chance to dive deep into one of these areas, and skill sets and capabilities that you need to, develop and work on in your business, so that at the end of those 9 months, you are ready and raring to go. And you may even be ready in the middle of those 9 months, but we're going to keep giving you more tools, more insight, more clarity, on everything: SEO, social media, branding, leadership. You're teaching about feminine energetics. I'm teaching about human design. and energy and vision. We're doing visioning, offer creation. I mean, you name it, the things that you need, like what platform should you use? We're going to talk about it all. You're going to get coaching from us. There's going to be lots of interaction. It's all live, which I love. And it's just going to be a wonderful community. So yeah, if you're interested, join us. And the link is in all of our bios.
Yep,
And wherever I'm posting this, the link will be there.
yep.
So yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Karla. And we will see everyone later.
All right.